Hello, my name is Jaiz, and this here is a donut. And I made it. I made this donut while I was employed at my new job as a baker. I also made these face biscuits, but I think that may be the last time I get to make those. Anyway, all of this new cooking and stuff happening in my life made me think to myself, what if I added it to Minecraft? And so today I'm going to do my absolute best to concept, create, and code realistic baking into Minecraft. So let's make a plan, shall we? Oh fuck, I've got the camera upside down. That's alright, that's fine, it doesn't really matter. So the mod, it's a baking mod. What does it start out with? We start with flour, and that turns into dough. So we have to turn the wheat that's in Minecraft, we have wheat in Minecraft, that needs to turn into flour somehow. And usually, in real life, that's done by a mill. After clicking it 4 times with a piece of wheat, then out pops the flour. That's the flour there, as you can see. I think that'd work. And then to get a donut from some flour, we need some flour. Probably need some yeast, but I'm not including that. We need some water, and we'll need some sugar. That's sugar, and that just goes into a crafting table, and you end up with that's sweet dough right there. I'm not really sure if that's how it works, to be honest, but I'm hoping it is. I think then we get the sweet dough, and we put it in something. Not sure what yet. Over either a campfire, a furnace, or a magma block. That's a magma block right there. And that'll turn into risen sweet dough, which you can now bake into the donut. That's uniced. And if you cook it again, you get coal or charcoal or something. I'm not really sure. And after that, we need to make the icing, which is going to be water, sugar, and a new item, the spoon. And that'll make the ice spoon. That's a spoon with icing on it. And then mixing that, an uniced donut, and an item of your choice to garnish the donut, we'll end up with an actual donut, which is what that is right there. Anyway, I suppose we should probably get that started because that's the plan, and I'm just kidding, I had this planned out on the other page the entire time. Suck on that one. Righto. Anyway, with that planned out, it's now time for us to start making textures and artwork to use in the mod, all of which I can make in Blockbench, which is the software I'm currently using. Oh my goodness, look, a little fairy that does artwork. I hope it doesn't do all of my artwork for me and suddenly transition to when there's artwork on the screen. Oh my goodness, it was a fairy that makes the textures. But yeah, now look, we got the flour, we got an ice spoon with the icing on it, we got the spoon, we got risen sweet dough, we got sweet dough, uncooked donut, burnt donut, uniced donut, and finally the regular donut. And then, as blocks, because we need to place them over campfires, we have the sweet dough stage 0, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. All but one block ready with art to go. Right, apparently the stupid fucking fairy forgot this part, because this here is the millstone block. Now, this is based on the old millstones, where people pretty much just chuck some grain down and rolled a big rock over it and turned into flour over time. So yeah, this is pretty much just a miniaturized version of that, where every time you click it, then the handle will turn, and so will this, and it'll roll around in a circle, and it'll crush down the wheat and turn into flour. And that's how that block's gonna work, and I'm really happy with it, and I can't wait to see it in game, so let's go do that. Okay, so I've got Minecraft loaded up, which means we can start adding the code for the blocks. So first off, we need to register the flour item that the mill will make, and that's as simple as this line of code here. So this will be the flour, it's named flour, and it's just a regular item. And so I can see inside of the creative inventory, inside of a new tab, we need to go entries.add, I think, and then it's mod items.flour. And hopefully, if I boot up the game, that'll make it show up inside of the inventory. And inside my inventory, I should have a new tab, which we do up here, baking, and we have the new item flour. Doesn't look quite right just yet, but we can fix that very easily. I'll show you how. To fix the item's texture, all I need to do is go down to the item textures area, make sure that the texture is there, which it is. That's the flour right there. And then over here in the data generation section in mod model provider, all I need to go is like this: item model generator dot register mod items dot flour with a comma, and then models dot generated. Then we just go up here, select data generation, and run it. And there it is. Flour in Minecraft. A brand new item added to Minecraft, as easy as that. One line of code, and a second line of code for the item model. Look, I know I made a video about Minecraft modding being hard, but it's not that crazy, to be honest, after you've been doing it for a year or so. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add all the other items without functionality so that we can make sure they all work in game and we have access to them. So I believe there's 9 total items, so I should be able to just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's all the items that we should need in this mod, I hope. And with those lines of code in, we should have all of the other items added, and look at that, every single one of them works. Righto then, it's time to make the blocks. So blocks are a bit different from items, but you can see here that I have the mill registered in the game. It doesn't have any custom code, and you won't actually be able to see it correctly, but it is there. On top of this, I'm also going to need a sweet dough block. But with these two registered, I'm going to set up the models, and I'll see you back in game. So here we are back in Minecraft, and I've got the sweet dough and the mill block ready. So the mill, it can be placed, but unfortunately currently it doesn't rotate. And the sweet dough, well it just doesn't work at all. So I'm going to have to fix those, and I'll show you how. So the sweet dough has these different stages of the block states, but currently, as it's just a regular block just here, see how the mill block has its own block, but this one does not. It means it doesn't have a custom block state to set what kind of shape it is. Now that'll be an easy enough fix in a second, but at first I want to fix the mill block. So to remedy that, I'm going to go into the carved pumpkin block and scroll down until I find the placement state. And I'm hoping that means I can just copy this part over and put it right here, and it should now work. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. Yep. And we can rotate the mills. So any way I'm facing, it will now point in the opposite direction. So for the sweet dough, I'm just going to add a custom block state, and down here I'm going to make it a sweet dough block. So what we're looking at right now is the sweet dough block class, and I should be able to make it so the way the block state works properly just by adding that, and this will make it show up as stage 0 whenever it first gets placed. I'm hoping that with these changes to the code, when I place this down, whoa, that's not quite right, is it? Oh my god. Oh my god, what is going on there? Right, so after a reload, there it is. It's fixed, it's working. Now I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't look like a bird's nest, but I mean, that's cool, I guess. It just works as another building block. That's actually one big thing about modding, is that when you're coding stuff in and you find an alternative use to it, it's really cool because it means that other people that probably won't use it for the correct function can still have it as something they'd interact with, like builders can now use this block for something that isn't the purpose. And I think that's a really fun thing about Minecraft. Anyway, that's all of the items and blocks registered correctly, and now they are all accessible in game, which means that we can start adding the custom code to make all of them work individually. So now we need to turn some of these items into food items, which really is quite easy. This is the mod food components class, and inside of it I have defined different components that can be used as food. I can then find my item, which is this donut right here, do dot food on the end, and then we go mod food components dot donut. And as simple as that, I can now eat the donut in game. I also want to make it so you can eat the other types, but for example with the burnt donut, you might want an effect, which we can also do pretty easily. So to add an effect to eating food, you have the mod consumable components, and you can have defined down here the burnt donut and the effect that you want to apply. And just like before, all we need to do is go dot food, and then mod food components dot burnt donut, and then a comma, and then mod consumable components dot burnt donut. And now, I think if we eat it in game, it'll make me have nausea. Alright, let's see if this works. We can eat it, and we have a nausea applied. It didn't do much because it wasn't very long, but it was applied. You saw it. You saw it. I know you saw it. I made it longer, so it should be more noticeable this time. Hey, there you go. Look, eating a burnt donut now makes you very sick. And just as a fun detail, I've also made it so you can lick the spoon. That's really, I'm quite happy with that. It's a really nice detail. On the coding side of things, I want to start making the mill block work, which means interacting with the block will give you flour when you're holding wheat. So up here I've defined the wheat, and if the player is using it, which gets sensed just here, then it will decrement the stack by 1, meaning that the wheat will go down by 1, and you'll get a dropped flour item right here. However, if the player is not holding a wheat item, then the action result will fail, meaning that you can't click on it. And inside of Minecraft, that looks a bit like this. So when I right click on it, then the wheat will pop out some flour. Except what I want it to do is that when I right click on it, it will spin like so. And after a full spin of interacting with it with the wheat, then it'll pop out 1 flour. So with this code in place, it now checks if the direction of the block is facing north, and it also plays a sound every time I interact with it. So that means that when I'm interacting with the block, as we'll see in a second, it will have to be facing north, which is that way, to be able to make the flour. See? And now all I need to do is add another line of code that makes it so it spins while interacting with it. And so to fix that, I've set up this method here, which pretty much checks which way it's facing, and then if it's facing a certain way, it'll set that block state to the right one and rotates it once. This method is then called down here, where it rotates on each interaction. And I only just realized that this part was wrong. I've now fixed it. Don't worry, it should work now. Alright then, that should be the mill block finished, and I will just test it out real quick. We can just see here, it gets placed down, that's the mill block. If I interact with it, it should spin no matter what I'm holding. That's perfect, it spins around in a circle, and if I'm holding wheat, I think it's currently facing north? Yes it is, so it should spit out some flour straight away. No flour? Flour. After this round, there you go. And there you have it, that is the very first feature completely done inside of this mod. I'm very happy with it. It works way better than I thought it was going to. It's always just brilliant seeing your ideas come together when you're making mods because, I mean, you know, look. I came up with that, you saw me concept it in real time, and it's now in the game and ready to be used. And I think next up I'm going to make it so the sweet dough rises above the magma blocks and the fireplaces and furnaces and that kind of thing. The idea for the sweet dough is that over time it should rise up, which means we have the dough stage block state, which should change the shape of the block. And my code here makes it so it checks that if it is less than a stage 2, meaning that it can only go up to stage 3, and if it is, then it'll add 1 to the dough stage and should make the block bigger. I've gone ahead and made the tick rate a bit faster so we can actually see it happen in real time. I just want to show you how it's going to look. So I should be able to place this down and it should just like rise up like dough. Look at that, isn't that sick? It's rising, look, go. Rise, little fella. Next up, I should just be able to check what blocks blow it using some code, and if it's in the right block set, then it'll make the dough rise. And that code looks a bit like this. So you can see here it scans the different blocks that it's after, and then down here it transforms the shape of the dough. And all of this should have come together to make it so if I place it down here, it should rise up, which is doing so. Place it here, it should also rise up. Place it here, rises up as well. How about here? Yeah, it's rising there. It's rising there as well. And hopefully that means because of the sensor, if I place it on the ground, it shouldn't rise up anymore, which it doesn't seem to be doing so, which means that we have coded it correctly and I'm a god among men. Start ass kissing because, I'm gonna part the Red Sea. No, that was Moses. Shut up, Jay. Which means we now have both the blocks working. We can make flour, and we can rise the sweet dough when we want to place it down. And that means we can start working on the recipe for the items to be able to make the donuts and etc. inside the crafting table. And if you've enjoyed this video so far, please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and join my Discord where you can hang out with other people that like mods. It's super cool and chill and awesome, I promise. Anyway, let's make some donuts. But before that, hope you don't mind, but I've also built a little bakery that we can use for the rest of the video where I can make my food. We've got my wheat here and the milk station, and over here we have the area we're going to rise the bread in. And here's where we're going to craft the donuts. So we should be able to go from flour over to sweet dough with sugar and water, rise it over here, bring it back over here and turn it into the uncooked donut, bring it back over here to cook the donut inside of the furnace, and then we can craft the ice spoon using the spoons up here and put the icing on the donut here. And that's the rundown of my awesome bakery that I built. Please write in the comments just how much you love my awesome bakery. Anyhow, now we have to do the recipes for the items, and first I'm going to work on the sweet dough recipe, which you can see me doing right now inside of this website. This website is a .json file generator that works for a lot of different JSON files involved in things like data packs and mods. And of course, if you need it at some point, I will link it in the description below. After getting the code sorted inside of this website, I then transferred it over to my coding software, and then we had it in game. I've done just a couple of upgrades to the bakery, but anyway, let's go look at the recipes that I added to the... Oh, look, a carpet. So we can see here the sweet dough recipe working in action. It has all the different pieces all ready to go, and I can click on that and get it back. Also, the bucket of water doesn't get crafted into the recipe. From there, as you know, we can place it down and turn it into the risen sweet dough. And using the same website as earlier, I made loot tables for this, so when I destroy this right now, it comes back as regular sweet dough. But if I destroy the fully risen version, it now comes back as the risen sweet dough item, which can be used to craft the donuts. To turn it into an uncooked donut, you need sugar and the risen sweet dough, and it turns into an uncooked donut. This is then put into a furnace to make the uniced donut item, which is there. And now that we have the uniced donut, you can actually put any cooked donut item back into the furnace again to get the burnt donut. Now, why you would want this is a great question, but it is still possible. And now we can make the spoon like this, and then if I mix these two with the spoon, we get the ice spoon. And if we add the uniced donut and the ice spoon together, then it will become the regular donut. But that's not been added yet, and I'll tell you why in a second. This here is a recipe for the plain donut. But after looking through some of the code, I found the suspicious stew recipes, which will apply different components depending on what item it's crafted with. So I'm hoping if I can paste that in here, this might work. However, I'm not sure if I can add this to the donut, but I'm going to test it out anyway. Now, I won't lie to you, if this doesn't work, the entire video was a bust, and I've been building up to nothing, so I'm really hoping it works. Otherwise, I'm going to have to recode a system, or I'm just going to have to add just a whole bunch of different kinds of donuts for it to work how I want to. Alright, that's a donut. I've enabled advanced tooltips. It does have 13 components. What is it? How many components does a regular donut have? The regular donut has 12 components. Okay, so this shouldn't give me blindness. But this one here that I'm holding right now is the one that got crafted, so it might. Holy shit! I'm not even fucking with you. I did not think it was gonna work. I shouldn't be surprised. There was no reason it shouldn't work, but I'm so happy. That makes life so much easier. I did not want to have to code an entire fucking suspicious stew system. Yes! Let's go! I think the great thing is also that because all I really wanted to do was make effects get applied when you ate the donut, I actually have to code nothing. There is no extra stuff I have to do. Here it specifies the duration of the effect that gets applied, and here it specifies which effect it is. All I need to do is have this component here applied to the item when I craft something. Right, so that means all that I need to do is make a whole bunch of recipes for different effects, and maybe I'll try and make them dyeable. It appears, while I was trying to code the donut model, I've made a mistake. For context, I'm trying to make it so it displays a different model depending on the crafting recipe that it comes from, and so I was testing the different models in game already, because that's not quite right. I'm not really sure why the block is an actual block. The fence is small, and the allium, which should probably be an item, is also a block. But I will be ignoring that and continuing my trials. Right, so I may have found out a way to make it dyeable, and that is by using the layers of a filled map. So I have here the filled map model, and what I'm going to do is replace the textures specified with my own, as you'll see in a minute. And hopefully this will make it so that way I can change the dye depending on the recipe that is created, meaning that each recipe will have its own color. So you can see here that I've got two of the textures separate, and hopefully this one will place itself above this one, so in game they'll merge. But we're going to have to test it because I'm not really sure. Aha! I don't think I put the right texture in. Oopsies. Yep, there we go. The item texture is merged. We can see we have a grey donut, which means I wonder if I can tint to other colors. I need to double check that. So to turn it red, I should just need to change this number to that. Yep, it worked. It's a really bright blood red color. Look at that. Look at that. I did something. I've done something. Oh, that's actually magnificent. I really hope there's a way I can turn these donuts, that way they have different tints depending on what components they have. So it's kind of stupid, but I've worked it out. It means that depending on the crafting recipe, it will give the donut a dye. Now, in the game, that currently looks like this. So this is an uniced donut, and that's a nice spoon, and if you put it into here, then it makes the regular donut. So from here, I'm just going to add a whole bunch of different recipes with different items that include the ice spoon and the uniced donut, and I will make a whole bunch of different dye colors, and depending on what food items you put in, you'll get a different dye color. Obviously, it's not going to be just blood red, I will make them look proper. So time to get to that. I did not exactly get every single effect, but I got most of them. Why I chose to add money fatigue but not poison is beyond me, I'm not really sure. I would like to test these recipes real quick, so I'm going to just grab some random ingredients and see which ones I can discover. Then I can kind of just head in here and just kind of grab whatever I want, I think. There we go, that seems like a good range of things. Alright, let's put stuff in here. So that's the regular donut. This one is blue donut. Oh, another blue donut. Grey blue donut. Purple donut. Another blue donut. Kind of a pinky orange donut. A green donut. And I actually have no idea genuinely which effects these do. Oh, they look so lovely. I'm really happy with this. Let's just eat them. Alright, so that one gave me nausea. I'm not really sure what I was expecting, so that does make sense. What does this one do? Okay, so one's regen, water breathing, slowness, resistance, swiftness, and mining fatigue. Okay, awesome. That's just what I needed. But yeah, no, that's pretty well all the donuts that I wanted to add for this video. Some good examples of how this mod could be expanded to involve more food would be things like cookies, which we've got some different colors of here. Yum, red cookie. Otherwise, we also have pies, which can go like this. Admittedly, I probably wouldn't eat this apple pie because it looks like it's been dropped under the fridge, but you know, the thought's there. And finally, we could have something like sushi. This one actually looks surprisingly appetizing and is a pretty good idea. And because of this, I will be fully releasing this mod to my GitHub, which means that it will be freely accessible to all of you if you know how to code by just downloading it and editing it yourself. And unlike all of my other mods, it'll be under the MIT license menu. You can do whatever you want with the code and use it as you please. This does mean the mod will not get an official release, but feel free to mess around with it if you feel like it. One last look at the bakery, but I think, lads, that I am pretty much done with this mod. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I've enjoyed coding it a lot. Now, originally I wasn't actually going to do this for this mod, but I figured, why not show one of my friends? So, you know, what's the harm in trying?
Okay, where is your bakery?
Oh, yeah, okay, no, so there isn't a bakery, we have to build one.
Yes! Yippee!
Tell you what, I'll let you pick out where you want to build it.
Is that pretty here on top of the hill?
If it's in the meadow, I'm blowing your head smooth off.
Not in the meadow, then I guess. Ignore that I said that. Sure. R.I.P. to the chickens and the pigs.
That's what I say to the butcher every time I go get sausages. So if you want to make a floor plan for that, that'd be wonderful.
Thanks, Jaiz.
Yeah, no, actually, I guess I'll do it myself then. I was just going to see how much free labor I get. Yeah, but it's not working.
You can never, well, you can never really go wrong with spruce logs, can you?
This is
okay, I hope
my dude just ripped down every piece of work you put into it.
There we go. Look at that. It's a bakery. You didn't even put the mill area in the supposed mill area.
Shut up. Here is 64 wheat. Here you go. Now click on the mill block a bunch of times. Wow. Look, would you look at that? It is flour. Yes. Now we come to the crafting station, and now we craft sweet dough.
Sweet dough.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
And now we come over here to the cooking area, and we and we place it above any of the heated sauces. Wow. There is the sweet dough. Oh, look, it got bigger. Wow, it is all done. Now you can mine it.
Oh, okay. Oh, and...
Oh my gosh, what did you get?
Risen sweet dough.
What? That is so cool.
Uncooked donut.
Uncooked donut.
It looks horrible.
And now take it to the furnace and cook it.
It's cooking.
Oh my goodness.
An uniced donut. It crowded an iced spoon. And now if I put that together with my donut,
you can make
I have a normal donut.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Did you know you can also eat the ice spoon?
Eat them? I don't have hunger. There we go.
You licked the spoon.
Whoa.
Oh my
and
goodness.
you keep the spoon. That is great. It's great.
You licked it clean. And take that. We'll probably take this one.
Oh, you can color it with meat and fish.
That's disgusting.
And then raw mutton. You can get a green donut to add
a green donut.
Oh.
A green donut? I bet it tastes so good with raw mutton on it.
Or a purple donut with a honeycomb.
Man, I bet that tastes even better.
And golden is kind of pinkish too, with a golden apple. And then with sweet berries, it's red. Wow, that's great.
What an amazing feature.
That's great.
I'm so glad that I added that. And now you can...
Oh, Wait, you get regeneration from this one.
Wow, Jaiz, you really have thought of everything. You might be my favorite person ever. I also added pies and sushi and cookies, but you don't get to see
this
those.
is horrible.
Bye.
Oh, okay. Where did he go? Oh, this is horrible nausea. Oh, I hate this. Oh.
There's a big salmon. Anyways, lads, you know exactly what that means. It means thank you ever so much for watching. If you have made it this far and have enjoyed the video, please feel free to subscribe, comment, join the Discord. It seriously helped out my channel as I try to push myself further with the videos I make, get some out more often, and kind of make this a bit of a part-time career. Anyhow, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.